Well, folks, here we are. It's been a little while since we have gone live, but I wanted to go live. We'll be probably doing this again tomorrow. We have a premiere that we'll be announcing later this afternoon, set for tomorrow. A story about a 26-year-old victim of the mother, father, and sister. So it's a powerful story. Current Okie back with snacks. Hello, one and all. The Garden Shed. The Garden Shed. Okay. So, do we know you? Do I know that name? Should I know that name? Furry Lives Matter. Hello. Glad to see you here, people watcher. Thanks for joining us. So, I wanted to talk for a few minutes about comments that happen on our stories. We get a lot of comments. We average about 1,000 comments a week. Virtually all of the comments are great. They're positive, empathetic, supportive, good comments. But holy cow, there's a few not so good comments as well. Hello, Fab. Okay, hello, Fab. Thank you for joining us from Switzerland. That is way cool. We don't hear a lot from Switzerland. Garden Shed is in Minnesota. Thank you for joining us, people. People watcher. Okay, people watcher. Do I know you? Have we met? Am I forgetting? People watcher doesn't seem like a familiar name, but I know that people change their names here sometimes. So I just wanted to check. Anyway, so I wanted to get back to comments. We average 1,000 comments a week, 1,000 to 1,200 comments per week, and most of them are wonderful comments. They are very supportive, very insightful, empathetic, uh, grateful. They're awesome. We hear from a lot of people who say, "Me too," that I have lost someone. I lost a family member. I lost a friend. I lost a spouse. We hear from that. We hear from people who are in recovery, a lot of people who are in recovery, and they tell us how the stories help them. Rhonda has told us about how the stories help her a few times, and it's always cool to hear. But we also get some comments that aren't so friendly, and I'll talk about those in a minute. In a minute, let me catch up with the comments here. Hello, people watcher, Minnesota, Switzerland. Very interesting. Bravo for your channel. Well, thanks. I feel very fortunate to get to do work like this. It it is something that I have always wanted to do, work that was relevant, that did something to help people, and at the same time be creative and useful. So, okay, let me catch up here. Furry Lives Matter. All alone in the apartment today. It's a bummer. Well, you're not alone right now. We have over 20 people here, so you're not alone at the moment. So that's cool. Star Sharp, excellent content, hard to watch, but needed information. Thank you, Star. Thank you. Remember, we also have a series of addiction recovery stories on our channel, and those stories, they're easier to watch, I think, because they're victories. They are stories of people making it through their struggle and now in a good place. A couple of the storytellers in the recovery series have since had relapses, but are back on it and all is good. So, hello, Lori. We're getting to your story soon, really. Really, we are. So, so there's a series of recovery stories that have much happier endings. The addiction recovery stories also have happier endings. I'm sorry. The addiction recovery stories and the human trafficking stories tend to have happier endings. Even we have a small series called American Peace Officer, and those stories are pretty moving in a more, I don't know, joyful kind of way. They're cool stuff. Let me catch up here. Garden Shed, hello, all excellent content, hard to watch. Yes, people watcher who haven't met, but we speak on online often. Nicole in Florida. You know, we were just shooting in Florida, right? We shot in Pensacola, Jacksonville, and Cocoa Beach. And so, holy cow, we were kind of close, right? So, hello, Mary. Thank you for joining us. Garden Shed, first time as well and alive. Well, I'm glad you're here. Garden Shed, Minnesota. We have had a couple of story inquiries from people in Minnesota who want to share their story on our channel, and we're working on it, always working on it. So, back back to the stories, the comments. So there are stories that there. Maybe I should just start over. I don't know. There are comments on stories that we delete. It certainly happens. The first kind of comment, I'm just determined to call them stories. The first kind of comment that we delete is pretty much anything that is hurtful toward the storyteller, even if it may be true. Doesn't matter. There is nothing a commenter can tell a storyteller that they haven't already thought of. So we are very protective of our storytellers. We treat them like royalty, and they are our first priority as far as who we protect. I see Holly is here. Looky here. Gosh, and my mother's here. Oh, that's great. Okay. So let me catch up. Rhonda, hello from Alabama. Hello, Rhonda. I swear we had an inquiry from Alabama in the last couple of days. I've been out of town, but things are back and getting back to normal now. Lori, it's good to see you here. Really, really, I appreciate you being here. And your story is with one of our editors. We have 5 part-time editors now, and one of our editors is on your story. And holy cow, we've got messages coming up all over the place. Okay. Mary's good. She's working outside. Ew. I mean, yeah, that's cool. That's good. Working outside. Yeah. Holly Ben says, thank you for sharing my son's story. That's great to see you here, Holly. I appreciate you joining us. I know you've already seen the story, but it will be premiering tomorrow at probably 5 o'clock Central Time. And so that means 6 o'clock for you East Coast weirdos who got time all wrong. So that'll be 6 o'clock your time. It'll be 5 o'clock our time. And during the premiere, if you haven't ever seen one, there is a live chat going on, and you know the people in this chat in the premiere, and there'll be comments going on forth while the story plays for the first time. And when the story plays in a premiere, there is also no commercial interruptions during the premiere. So that's kind of a cool thing. And we'll be setting that up as soon as we are finished here. And what happens when we set up the premiere is the link that I sent you will no longer work to play the video. Instead, the link will take you to what YouTube calls a watch page. And on the watch page, when the premiere begins, you can see it there, and you'll see the chat window and all of that cool stuff. So let me look at the commenters here. Garden said, first time in a live. Mary's good. Holly joined us. Mary, I'm good even without sunshine at my house. Of course you are, Brenda. It's all an attitude thing. At least it's an attitude thing first. Doctor says I need soldier surgery. That means 3 months to recover. Pain and stress on my sister. Has to take care of me. Shucks. Well, sorry to hear that, Furry. You know, I have pocket knife and Tylenol. You know, I could. So, but seriously, you'll get it taken care of, and the time will be over before you know it. And during that time, when you're recovering from the surgery, you have an opportunity to explore things that you normally don't have the time to explore. So there's a perk in there somewhere, right? Furry, I will put you and your surgeon on my pray list, and your caregiver sis too. Caregivers make the world go round. Being a caregiver is a pretty cool thing too. A really cool thing. I was a caregiver for my father for a few years, and I'm grateful that I was able to make the time to do that. That was a really good thing. So thanks, Brenda. I need all the help I can get. I had surgeries on my left shoulder. That's great. You have your sister to help. Furry Lives Matter. You're laughing at my pocket knife and Tylenol joke, I guess. So, all right. So back to the comments. Comments are a big deal. A lot of our storytellers read the comments regularly and reply to comments regularly. And once in a while, hiya, Julie, you quit your day job. All right, congratulations. That's cool. So, that's awesome, Julie. Eager to make your story, eager to share your story. So, what was I saying? You people are confusing me now. Nicole, Lux, hello, Glenn, mods in chat, working on connecting earbuds to my new phone. Proud of every single person who choose another day sober. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's every day is a victory. How cool is that to get an opportunity to have a victory every day? And you don't even have to look at it as quitting. You can look at it as not today, and just look at it as not today, every day. All right, let me try to get back to the comments. Comments are important. A lot of good comes out of the comments. for the storyteller and for the people who engage back and forth with the stories. It's a good, useful, valuable way that we can all communicate. And basically, virtually all the comments are good. The bad ones are someone who is struggling with something and they're lashing out. That's how it tends to come across to me, anyway. But even the negative comments, very often with negative comments, the negative comments happen with a level of depth that tells the reader, me, and whoever else reads the comments, it tells the reader that the commenter watched the whole story. They quote content a lot of times from near the end of the story. So they got it in their head, even if they didn't agree with it, even if they thought it was a bad story or a bad parent or whatever. It's still in their head. And a day later or a week later or whenever, something might click. So even the negative comments have some value. But if it's hurtful toward the storyteller, we're going to delete it. There's no reason for that. There's no value to that. Saying something that is mean toward a storyteller, that's just a screwed up human being. I don't know any other way to put it. It's not something that you would say to that person in person. You wouldn't say it to their face. You're hiding behind a keyboard and say, so anyway, those stories get deleted. See, I did it again. Those comments get deleted. We also delete comments that are hostile, that involve name calling and otherwise that are just trying to be provocative for no constructive reason. So we delete those as well. All right, before we go on, I'm going to catch up a minute. Marion Furry, I hope I never need surgery. It could happen. Julie quit her J job. That means a lot, folks. You'll just have to wait and see why that's the case. And Julie is on a very cool adventure, very cool mission. Okay, Brenda, Nux and everyone. Today is the first day of the month 7 in my recovery, day 212, and I wouldn't be here without you guys. I'm very happy for you, Brenda. I think that's fantastic. Minute by minute, second by second, and proud of you all. That's right, Nicole. Vicky, when I comment on these stories, I always try to be respectful and use my whole heart. I think that's true for most of the people who comment on the stories. Just once in a while, morons use YouTube too. It actually says that on the paperwork that all of our storytellers fill out. It reminds them that there's going to be some moron comments. So, other things that we delete. Anything that's racist. No, just no. Anything race-based, pretty much. That's a differentiator that's really not relevant. It's certainly not relevant to addiction. It's not relevant to the fentanyl crisis. It's not relevant at all. Close to 20% of our stories are from Black storytellers or involve Black victims. And that's a little bit higher than the actual percentage of the U.S. population that's Black. Still, sometimes I've been accused of being a racist because a story with a white storyteller got music and the story with the black storyteller did not. No. People complain when music is there. People complain when music is not there. Different people. And I value the feedback very much. But to conclude that that makes me a racist, no. We don't know anything about any of the storytellers until we meet. And typically that's just minutes before we begin recording the interview. There's some storytellers in the group who can support that, I'm sure. I know Julie can, and Holly, if she is still with us, Holly can tell me too. Look, holy cow. Not a mean or discriminate. Oh, shucks. Shucks, Megan. So cool to see you here. I appreciate you joining us very much. Eileen, the stories help me understand human nature and that everyone is struggling. Yeah, everybody's got some sort of little demon, some sort of distraction going on. So, anyway, comments that blame something on race, on any race. Like a comment that we would hear fairly often for a while was where was all this concern during the crack epidemic? There was concern. The crack epidemic was labeled an epidemic. It was in the news constantly. I was there. I saw them. You heard about it all the time. There's addiction recovery centers that were established in response to the crack epidemic. And so to say that there's a difference, well, sure, there's a difference because there's been 30 years between them. And the way that society responds to the fentanyl epidemic is based in some part on what worked and what didn't work with the crack epidemic. We all learn. All right, so I'm getting off. So anyway, and we also delete stuff that's inaccurate. Inaccurate is a big deal. That a lot of people read the comments, and if there is something in a comment that is inaccurate, and our readers, our viewers could take that comment as being some sort of solution. The one that comes to mind, there was once a commenter who said that the way you can identify a fake Xanax as opposed to a counterfeit Xanax is to drop it in Sprite. And if it sinks, it's fake. And if it floats, it's legitimate. That is not remotely close to accurate. It is a ridiculous concept. So I remember with that comment, because it had been a few hours before I found it. And so rather than deleting it, I replied to it so that anyone who saw it during that 2 or 3 hour period would hopefully also see my reply explaining that that's not accurate and that it's dangerous to think that it is. And then I went back and deleted it. All right. So Megan, it's so cool that you're here. Not a mean or discriminating. Yeah, I'm kind of harsh on Cowboys fans. It's the cross that I bear. Vicky, to be totally honest, even though I suffer from pain and the difficulty I have in getting medication, it's this channel that kept me from trying to go elsewhere for it. That's great, Vicky. That makes me so happy. That is so awesome to hear. So, Crazy Koontz, welcome back. Good to see you here again. Good morning. Yeah, sure. It is almost 5 in the afternoon here. So, your good morning thing. Here's the thing. My grandfather would say good morning regardless of what time of day it was. So that just hi Megan. I don't know if you can see it, but you have a different icon next to your name from anybody else. Could just be what I see, but maybe not. It means you have a little extra freedom. For those of you who don't know, Megan is one of our storytellers. She is one of the two storytellers in episode 100, Wade Green's story. It's a very powerful story, and it's a very important one in terms of the kind of messages it delivers. And if you haven't seen it, you should. And if you do, you should watch it all the way to the end to see this one extra little clip that is, well, it's kind of funny. Anyway, two things my kids be disowned. One is for being a Cowboys fan. Yeah, for sure. All right. I have a t-shirt custom made for me, and across the front it says "Go Team." And right underneath that, in parentheses, it says whichever team is playing the Cowboys. The episode number of Megan's story is episode 100. It's Wade Green's story. Butterflies. Episode 100. That was a landmark for us. And Vicky, do not what? I don't like the Cry Boys. Cry Boys. Oh, that's cool. I did have a meeting at the Cowboys training camp in the beginning of the year. Well, it's farther back than that. Very, very nice facility. It was impressive. So, yes, Megan has some editing permissions on our channel. That's why she has the wrench, I'm guessing. It's not meant to be some sort of label for her. See, crazy. Are you in Australia? Also known as mom, also known as wife. I heard that when you bust one up, it's hard to bust up if it's fake. Nope. How difficult or easy it is to crush would depend probably on what type of other material is in it. The binding agent is what DEA agents call it. The binder could be something like baking soda. It could be something else. And that would affect how it breaks up. Legitimate pharmaceutical pills have binding agents as well. You can't, the only way to know is to test it. And you have to test the whole thing. There's a story on our channel where we tested a pill that we bought using hidden cameras in a border town in Mexico. And we use test strips, and you see the right way to do it in the video. But basically, you have to crush up the entire pill, dissolve it in water, and then swirl the test strip in the water, and then see if it indicates. So There's no other way to be sure. I've heard people say that, well, the fake ones smell like burnt popcorn. No, if they were in a bag of popcorn, maybe, but no, there is no odor that's a giveaway. There is no consistency that's a giveaway. Nothing other than testing. So if you have to test, if you have to use, you test it following the procedures on the test strips. And if the results are negative, then you drink the solution, and that's how you can use if you still want to use it. It's not the kind of method that people really want to do. So I totally understand that. All right, let me check up. Let me catch up. Let me catch up. What's Megan's TPD number? That would be 100. I'm assuming that you're asking about the episode number, and it's Wade's story. Megan's a storyteller. It's Wade's story. So the other disowning factor was being an Auburn fan, as we are Alabama fans to the core, but two of my children graduated from Auburn, so I let that go. Wow, that had to hurt. AKA Mom, sorry, your information is false. The fakes can be easy to bust or difficult. That's correct. It's absolutely, you can't know. There's no way to tell just by looking at it or smelling it or even crushing it up. You can't know unless you test it. This is what law enforcement tells us. If they had a way to check material that they find in the field when they make an arrest, the material they seize, if there was a way to check it right away, they would do that. At least some law enforcement would do that. And so you can't tell just by any kind of inspection. Experts can't tell. People who work with seized illicit drugs for a living can't tell by looking at it. You can't tell. Okay, let me. Okay, what's the episode you filmed? I was just asking. What's the episode you filmed? Are you talking about Megan? Megan's episode is episode 100. Or if you're asking about someone else, Julie, let me know. Vicky, Megan Ledoux, thank you. I have had a disc replaced in my neck, 4 back surgeries, and now I need a new knee. So, yeah, I deal with pain and accept that it is hard to handle, I guess is what TH means. Okay, there it goes again. Let me jump. A couple of state governments here have introduced pill testing at festivals. That is a substantial, reasonable, positive form of harm reduction. It sounds like to me, and there is new testing procedures that are out there. There's someone we talked to at the Washington D.C. rally last year, and they have a new product that works differently. So there's new testing procedures out there. So next, I'm an OU alum, so I love the fact that Texas helped save me. I have rooted against Texas forever. Now I am their biggest fan. Well, cool. I attended the University of Houston, and there is it's it doesn't have that embracing among its students that places like University of Texas and Texas A&M have, OU has. So Oklahoma University, what's OU? Oklahoma University. Holy cow, nuts. Okay. I think she's asking about the one in Mexico where you tested bills. Holy cow. I do not know what that. I think, I don't believe it has a. Let me see where I'm at here. I don't believe it has an actual episode number because it was something that we made before we started assigning numbers to our stories. But I will post a link to it right now. It's called Fentanyl, the name of the story is Fentanyl, the Border, and the Poison Pill. And we went and did this after one of our stories. We had a story, one of the very first stories that we did. Here's the link. That's it. Fentanyl, the Border, and the Poison Pill. We made a story. One of the first 15 stories that we made was a story about a victim who went across the border into Mexico, went into a pharmacy and bought a Percocet that turned out to be counterfeit. And when we published that story, that was a story that drew some comments about that weren't very kind, that said, no, that's not true. That they're just saying he bought it at a pharmacy, but he really bought it on the street because pharmacies don't do that. And so we went down there and tried it. We had 2 Spanish-speaking American citizens go across the border with hidden cameras, and they shopped in 4 pharmacies, and only one of them was willing to sell an individual Percocet. And that individual Percocet that they bought turned out to be counterfeit, turned out to contain fentanyl. The test, the use of the test strips, all of that is in the video. And total length of the video is 8.5 minutes. So it's not a real heavy time investment. Texas is the University of Alabama's nemesis. Okay. I should pay more attention, I guess. Brenda watches college sports. Yeah, I used to watch some college sports, a lot more pro sports. But as I got older, eventually I got to this point where I realized everyone on the field, like everyone, is younger than me. And I kind of lost interest pretty quick after that. What else? Have I missed questions from anybody? If I have, please repeat them. It's just me here and my imaginary friend who's running the camera. And so it's just me here, and I'm reading the comments and trying to keep talking to you guys at the same time. And so I'm doing my best. So if I missed any questions, please just repeat them. Just try again. Oh, hey, Austin 3322. Thanks for joining us, Austin. I feel like I've seen comments from you under a different name before because the thumbnail looks the same. Charlie's Aquatic Nook. I recently found Narcan available at Goodwill store and grabbed some because you never know when you can help someone. At a Goodwill store. That's cool. That's smart. It's good for it to be anywhere. There's always opportunities to get free Narcan, free naloxone, which comes in many forms, not just the brand name Narcan. It's possible to get that free at fentanyl awareness events, at harm reduction centers. There's online resources where you can order it for free and it'll be shipped to you. You just have to do a little research. Sorry, Salvation Army. Either way, it's cool thing. So, sorry, just trying to keep things organized around here. Austin, I agree. You should come to Oklahoma and see college softball World Series. Hmm. Hi, Jane. You're laughing at me about what? But I was shocked to see it. I'm a hospice nurse, and we do have issues with drug diversion with family members, believe it or not. Your local police department is out of Narcan, is out of naloxone. Hmm. That seems just that seems grossly irresponsible. How how does a law enforcement agency run out? There are resources in your town, I bet, that would be happy to provide naloxone to your law enforcement agency that would just donate it. If there's not, let me know and I'll find a way. I have 3 boxes of it in my car right now. 3 boxes. Well, I guess you would call them cases. 3 cases, and I think there's 12 boxes inside each case. And we take them on our stories. Then we also have test strips. So holy cow, there ought to be a way for sure. Now I am looking for a graphic that I like to share with you folks if I can find it. Hmm. All right, maybe not. I stopped watching pro sports when I realized everyone on the field has more money than me. See, it's same thing. So yeah, there's that too. That you can only care so much how good someone does if that person doesn't know you exist. Brenda, my police department asked me 1,000 questions. Who's it for? Do I know someone that I may use it on? Do I know where the drug is coming from? Nicole, where is that? Wow, that is so irresponsible of the law enforcement. Charlie's Aquatic Nook. How did you get involved with the fentanyl stories? Okay. Yeah, someone asked that before. How did I get started with this? And the way it started, I realized some of you who have joined us in a lot of live events have heard this story before. So here's a big chance to go get a snack. As the way that it started, Texas Pictures has been around since 2007. We got our YouTube channel in 2009. And most of the work that we did for the first 12, 13 years was industrial production. Uh, a lot of training and safety videos, a lot of work for oil and gas companies. I have been all over the world on other people's money, telling other people's stories. Hmm. Really? Really? So I'm trying to make something happen here, but I'm working on it. So also now and then I would get to make some sort of documentary, and that's really where my heart is. The making stories that make a difference, that contribute some kind of way to help people have a better life, longer life, whatever. And so there we go. So during the course of that production stuff, went all over. They are not. Yeah, that. Yeah, I get where you're going, Brenda. Okay, so during the production stuff, the industrial production work, I very much traveled all over the world, and and that was awesome. It was awesome to get to do that level of world exploration, and it definitely makes you a richer person. And so once in a while, we would do work for like the Houston Police Department or some municipality around Houston. We'd make documentaries about impaired driving or about drug abuse, things like that. And as we got known for that, we started doing work for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And in the course of all of that, we've gotten more and more known for working with law enforcement. I have my own bulletproof vest. It was issued to me by the Houston Police Department. It's way cool. Holy cow, when you put it on, you get taller. Now, my IQ goes down a little bit, but I get taller, so it seems like a fair trade, I think. So anyway, so because we started developing this reputation, when the DEA was planning a family summit here in Houston, near the around Thanksgiving of 2022, they contacted us to hire us to create stories like this for family members who attended the summit who lost someone to fentanyl. And so we did. Now, up to that point, we had a YouTube channel since 2009, so about 13 years. And during that 13 years, we accumulated about 1,600 subscribers. And we never really gave much attention to YouTube because our focus was on client based work for industrial training and safety stuff and law enforcement clients, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, AAA. We made a documentary about distracted driving for AAA and things like that. And yeah, the vest is heavy. They gave me an old one, I think. But anyway, and so that those kind of stories, the stuff about drunk driving and uh, dangers of drug abuse and dangers, stories that might help save some lives. That's where my heart is. So when we started, when the family summit with the DEA happened in November of 2022, we were at 1,600 subscribers, and that seemed like a lot to me. Not so much now, because so when we started publishing, so when we started publishing the fentanyl stories, they really took off on our channel. So so we kept doing it. Kind of felt like we had to keep doing it. We felt like it was important to keep doing it. And YouTube, because of the revenue from the advertising, makes it possible for us to continue to do the stories without a client like the DEA. We don't have any sponsors. We don't have any grants. We don't have any funding source of any kind other than YouTube and occasionally a donation from someone, and it is sustainable. We don't have accountability to anybody other than the storyteller and the audience, you guys. So we're in a real sweet spot. All right, let me catch up. Okay. There was a question about the vest. Do you knock louder when you wear the bulletproof vest? When I wear the bulletproof vest, I don't knock at all. Ha. No, I'm kidding. Okay, crazy as supply increases, price drop. They haven't always been as cheap as they are now. That's right. Dun, 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 crazy spot. Okay, that is the best. Heavy. Yeah, I told you about that. Ridiculously expensive here. Hey, it's a basic business thing as far as prices go. It's a supply and demand thing. If no one in the United States bought illicit drugs, fentanyl wouldn't be here because there wouldn't be any money in it. I'm not sure about other states, but as of last year here in Cook County in Illinois, when you're prescribed pain meds such as Norco, you have to get drug tested, sign a contract, and fill a Narcan RX. Okay, you guys are killing me with that Narcan stuff. Naloxone. You got to call it naloxone. Somewhere I have a graphic that hammers that point home. That actually even went viral for a while, and it is. It's an important point about calling it. Why is it not here? Of course, it's not here. It's an important point to call naloxone because there are products out there that I don't know who you are. What is that? Okay. What else? Media. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're almost there. It's so important to understand that the active ingredient in Narcan is called naloxone. Huh. I don't get. All right, I know why. So naloxone, there's a lot of products out there that contain naloxone that work in the nasal spray, work identical to Narcan, but the box doesn't say Narcan on it anywhere. But it does say naloxone. And naloxone the Narcan boxes also say naloxone. And it's so important to recognize that if you're looking at a box, it doesn't say Narcan on it, but it says Cloxato or it says naloxone on it somewhere. That's the same thing. It's not some pretty close kind of deal. It is exactly the same, except in the case of Cloxato, it's actually a higher dose. Narcan and all the other generics out there have uh, have 4 milligrams of naloxone Kloxxado has 8 milligrams. Some harm reduction people say that is bad, but you're really making me work with this, aren't you? Some harm reduction people say that that's bad. They say that a higher dose will put the victim into withdrawal, and maybe putting the victim in withdrawal is not ideal, but letting them die is not ideal either. If you have Kloxxado, use it. And there is research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association that indicates that a higher initial dose may work just a little bit faster, seconds. But when you're talking about hypoxia, when you're talking about not enough oxygen to the brain, seconds matter in a big way. So anyway, I don't know why I haven't been able to find this graphic. Wasn't that long ago that I made the graphic? Yet now I can't find it. But it got reposted a lot, and geez, just stop it. And it's a good. I really want you guys to see it. Yeah. All right, fine. I'm gonna have to give up on finding it right now. I should have had it. I should have had it set up, ready for you guys. Oh, I found it. Okay, here we go. Gee, what a ridiculous ordeal to find one stupid graphic. So, all right, let me catch up on the comments. Why are drugs so cheap? That Brenda Miller, cheers, ridiculously expensive. You're doing amazing work. They not make a portable device to test a product on the spot for fentanyl. No, they don't. Not as far as I know. The testing procedure that I'm aware of involves destroying the pill, dissolving it in water. Vicky, I'm not sure that. Okay, we did that. Do you? Nux is doing it again. Thank you, Nux. Well, I certainly appreciate that very much. You are such a champion for our channel. I'm very grateful. It's bizarre how your last video has like 250K versus the others. Yeah, if anyone can explain that to me, because we would love to reach that kind of audience with every story. But a beautiful thing that happens, we've had several stories do that, just really take off the way Nicole Gray's story did. And what happens is there's a spider effect where all the new viewers start exploring some of our other content. So there's a bit of a spike in the attention that all of the other stories get too. And so we're very, very grateful for that, because we're reaching a broader audience. We had an increase in the number of people contacting us wanting to share their story as well. But you're absolutely right. And it's at 290,000 views now, I believe. Anyway, so I am just gonna do that and do that. And I'm going to show you guys this graphic that I just wasted a whole bunch of time finding. And here it is. That's it. You can see there's Narcan, there's Kloxxado, there's 3 or 4 different generics, including a Walgreens brand. All of them work. All of them work equally well, except it is possible that Kloxxado works just a touch better. Maybe. So let me catch up here. Austin, no knock. Yeah, that's funny, right? Why do you knock when you have on a bulletproof vest? It's bizarre how your last video. Yeah, okay, yeah, we talked about. No, it's Narcan. Hey, Charlie's Aquatic Nook, knock it off. That's like calling Tylenol acetaminophen. No one does that. Problem is, it's not a life or death thing when you call something Tylenol or acetaminophen. But here's the thing: we're going to look at this graphic one more time because this is really important. Imagine 3 people, 3 friends that have been having too much fun, and one of them is passed out on the floor. He has pinpoint pupils. He's unresponsive. His fingers, his fingernails are turning blue. His lips are turning blue. And he's not breathing. Whereas the other 2 friends, let's say it's me and you, and we're looking at this box. Nope. And we're looking at this box, and it doesn't say Narcan on it anywhere, but it does say naloxone. But we're looking at it, and we're thinking, no, what we need is Narcan. Our buddy needs Narcan. But the box doesn't say Narcan. And so while we argue as to whether naloxone will work like Narcan, he dies. That can be a real thing. And so it's important to recognize the difference that I can't say this enough. I have a background in marketing, and I know what kind of victory it is to have a bunch of people calling your brand name, using your brand name as a generic name. They're all exactly the same. All right. So I'm hoping I made my point with that. So tomato, yeah. As a nurse, I can tell you they're the exact same thing. Yes, they are. They are. And the medical community is one of the worst villains with throwing around the word Narcan when they should be saying naloxone. Naloxone is accurate. The word Narcan has even become a verb. People say they Narcaned him 3 times. And I get it. I know the difference. But there's people out there who don't. And this can be a life or death thing. Okay, please come out of the bushes because it's time for gifted memberships. Yeah, nuts. Sam Clinton Network, what kind of camera do you use for your background blurriness? This image is with a Canon R5 and an 85 millimeter 1.8 Canon lens. That's how we get the blurry background. If I back up, the focus should pull with me. Yeah, okay, I got a cord connected to me, so I can only back up so far. But if I lean out of the shot, Okay, well, it focused on the microphone. That's the breaks, guys. So, but yes, it's a Canon R5. We shoot most of our stories on a cinema camera, a Canon C200, and we have some other cameras too. It's crazy. I'm to the point now, really, where I don't care about gear. It's a nuisance because it keeps changing, and yeah. So anyway, all right. Please come out of the bushes. What kind of camera? Narcan is the trade name, and naloxone is the drug name, but both mean the same. Am I going to have to bring that graphic up again? They mean the same, but not all of the boxes that are out there in the world containing the same potential for saving a life. Not all of those boxes have the word Narcan on them anywhere, but they all have the word naloxone on them. So, hello, Pamela. Thanks for joining us. Austin 3322. I think bupropion and naloxone was helpful for me. Some people are opposed to it, but I think you need to stay on it for usually at least 18 months. Naloxone a is an immediate response to an opioid overdose. It is not a long-term treatment as far as I've ever heard. Maybe you're thinking of Suboxone. Anyway, Brenda has a rainbow coalition of thumbs up going on there. Naloxone rules, Narcan rules. Okay. Wow. I'm going to have to use that for something. Uh, I, Unfortunately, I have a box behind me on the shelf here, but the box that I have behind me is actual Narcan. And it's just because that's what I was given. Anyway, 10 memberships from Knox. I'm very grateful for that, Knox. I appreciate it. And so, Sam Clinton Network, Charlie's Aquatic Nook, Donna Diane, Ivy League Night Flight Nurse, Andre Storm, Amanda Joe Fisk, Kenya Forever, Levon, JC Form, Grace 2. Okay. Thank you, folks, for being part of it all. Uh, I hear what you said. Thank you, Charlie. As Wade's mom, I also didn't know that naloxone wears off. People can learn from that. Yeah, it's a tragic way to learn. That's one of the really powerful elements of Wade's story is naloxone wears off. And the hospital that Wade was at, the emergency room, discharged him while he was still symptomatic. And the naloxone wore off. It is a powerful story. Episode 100. Let me get you guys a link. Just for those of you who haven't seen it. I can tell you something else about this story. Here's the link to Wade Green's story. Right there in the chat. Just like that. Boom. Yes, Charlie, I'm behind. I know I'm behind. So, sorry. Okay, I just added a link to Wade Green's story. The primary storyteller, Megan, is here in the group with us. Y'all can't miss her. Her name is in blue and it's got a wrench next to her. That's because she's a mechanic. No. But I added the link. It's an important story They're all important stories, but there's an extra element of importance to this story because it addresses the fact that naloxone does wear off. This is also a story that has been featured in a couple of film festivals. So that's kind of cool. Okay, let me catch up now. Charlie, Megan, and wait, yeah, okay. I don't personally live with anyone that deals with pills in my household, but we do keep a box of naloxone in the bathroom cabinet available. Good job. Good job using the word naloxone as well. I totally understand what you're saying. God, I'd only refer to it as Narcan because as a medic, that's what we carried. I get that. I get it. I don't understand how the flow works. People will say ibuprofen and kind of prefer it over saying Advil. I don't. I don't. Is it fun to say the word? I don't understand. Anyway, Megan Ledoux, it can be injected into the bone marrow, I believe, if you have someone that's in real danger. Yes, there's a reference to an IV drip in Wade's story, I believe. Had the friends my brother lived with gave a crap and had Narcan, my brother might have made it, but he didn't, and he lay there for almost 7 hours. It's vital and important. Austin, no. Right. I don't know about it being injected in the bone marrow, but I know there is a Narcan drip option that is used in hospitals. So sorry, Nugs. Yeah. I'm sorry about your brother, Nicole. I carry naloxone in my purse, in my truck, both house bathrooms. I had to convince hubby to put a box in our shop next to the door to the house. Okay. I see a question from a nurse. Question, sir, why not spread the information without trying to place blame? You wreck your message by placing blame. I don't, am I placing blame? There's uh, Megan, if you're still here, Sandy has a question. What level was the ED he went to? It would be good to watch Wade's story. The hospital and the attending physician were both investigated by state and federal agencies, and they were found to be negligent. But Megan can tell you more if she's still here. So let me get back to the other question about blame. If I don't know that I see it anymore, but there you go. You tell him, Megan. Good job. So Sunday, the other question you had, there it is. I'm sorry, I lost it. Uh, Placing blame. Uh, we don't we don't we don't script anyone. Sometimes a storyteller will direct blame toward uh, a hospital or uh, police department or whatever, and that's their story. A lot of times, what some viewers call blame is not. A lot of time as blame is simply a matter of identifying a failure, identifying a missed opportunity, identifying an error on the part of someone in some sort of official capacity. But it's not blame, typically. That happens too, but typically it's not. In the case of Wade Green's story, state and federal agencies found negligence, not just with Wade's case, but help me out, Megan. There were several cases the same night that were also handled negligently. Is that like 7 or 8 other cases? Anyway, so it's called accountability. I didn't get any blame placing. Thank you. Yes, many. That's right. Yeah, it's such a. I do have this big dream of doing a follow-up story, Megan. Not that I'm hinting or anything. So, Deanna Blanar, is that right? Deanna, I feel like I'm close, but not right there. Deanna. Dana. Okay, there we go. See, I was close. Okay, so let me catch up. Not placing blame. They had a duty to provide a standard of care to my son in his emergency state. That standard of care thing is a big deal. And there were multiple patients in that emergency room that standard of care that they were supposed to receive that night. They refused to do a toxicology screening when I asked, and my son didn't know he took fentanyl. Don't tell them more. They're trolling. No. I think that Sunday is a registered nurse, and she's trying to understand. It's a story that is pretty critical of members of her field, and so there is a normal response to want to dig a little deeper and try to understand the details. So I think what she's doing is just being responsible toward her profession. All right, Dana. All right. I know Monday I'll be at the state capitol to test. Monday I'll be at the state capitol to testify so that hospitals will be required to test for fentanyl. It will save lives. Yes, it will. That is awesome because holy cow, fentanyl can be in anything now. Charlie, you're not sure on that one. Which one is that one? Do. Charlie? That is amazing, Megan. I think that's really awesome. All right, folks. So it is getting close to time to wrap it up here. Is there? Next. I've had a lot of loss in my life. 22 people, friends, and immediate family. It's not a discriminatory disease. I love them without enabling it is a hard lesson. The men, I agree, trolling for sure. Maybe. I don't know. I can totally understand how an RN would spring to the defense of an emergency room. We still see comments like that on Wade's story on a pretty regular basis. So you guys all got the link to Wade's story. I also work in healthcare, and I want to reduce the stigma with those suffering from mental health and substance use disorder. I'm an RN. It's not how it goes. Okay, Charlie. All right. I have had heated arguments with RNs about the whole call it naloxone issue. It's always been fun sparring, but they hang on to saying it's Narcan. It's Narcan. I'm sure there is a pharmaceutical company out there that just says yay every time someone does that. A pharmaceutical company. That's what saying Narcan instead of naloxone helps. One pharmaceutical company. Next, loved you all. Proud of those who chose to another day sober. Next, I am so proud of you and so grateful for you, and you're consistently showing up with the live stuff. That's great. So I want to talk to you guys about the upcoming premiere tomorrow. It'll be at 5 p.m. Central Time. We'll be premiering our next story. It has 3 storytellers, mother, father, and sister, talk about losing their loved one. And that'll be at 5 p.m. And then we'll do this again tomorrow at 5 p.m. So let me see if there are negative comments on the videos. It's sometimes better to just ignore them. I've seen some on Zachary's story, but I look at it that they watched it. Yeah, that's a thing. A lot of times negative comments will actually quote sections of the video, sometimes near the end of the video. Their quotes mean that they watched the whole thing and it's in their head, even if they didn't get the point the way you would have liked for them to. They might get the point tomorrow. You're welcome, Charlie. Very disrespectful, and it does not know Glenn's great work and dedication. It's okay. Hi, Stacy. I don't think I noticed that you were here before, but I'm glad you're here. Charlie. Thanks, Stacy. You get it. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I feel like good, solid, confrontational scrutiny. Engineers tell you that friction means something's being accomplished. So I feel like it's a good thing. Stacy just got here about 10 minutes ago, and holy cow, Stacy, I'm about to wrap it up. I just saw that you're on. Wish I would have found it. Hey, Pat, thanks for joining me. I'd been out of town for a while and hadn't been online, so I wanted to come on and just spend a little time with you guys. And I wanted to talk about comments on stories and how we filter them. The ones we delete, the ones we let go, all of that. Next, Glenn makes it easy to tell the stories. Thank you, Dana. JD Vance 2028. Holy cow. It's 2025. Let's see how things work out. Maybe. Maybe not. There's a lot of time between 25 and 28. So anyway, Charlie's Aquatic Nook. I'm an actual RN too. I'm on call right now. So I'm hanging with y'all. So okay. Thanks, Charlie. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Really glad you're here. You too, Stacy. All right, kids. It is time to wrap it up. We've been here for almost 90 minutes, and it's time. It's time for dinner. So I will be back tomorrow live after the premiere of episode 220. I'm looking. I'm stalling while I'm looking. Episode number 227. Sometime soon, I hope to be able to make episode 220. Sometime soon, I hope to be able to make episode 224 possible. But right now, can't do that. Right now, we're just not. But sometime soon. We're in kind of a tough spot with that one. So, we can ruffle feathers any day. I am always game for that. Friction means something's being accomplished. That's a for real thing. All right, folks. So, anyway, I got so much going on the screen here now. I've lost my place, but check out Wade Green's story and check out the story Fentanyl, the Border, and the Poison Pill. And in that video near the end, there's a demonstration of how test strips work. So you guys should check it out. So remember that you guys can reach us at any time at the email address on your screen, info@texas-pictures.com. You can also find me on Pace. You can also find me on Facebook. My name is Glenn Muse with one N, GLEN MUSE, like museum. And Texas Pictures is also on TikTok and other places as well. We also have a YouTube or a Facebook channel. So feel free to connect with us anytime. Thank you so much for joining us. Seriously. So I'm back one more time. I'm so grateful for you guys. You guys stay in touch. If you have ideas, if you have questions, if you have concerns, let me know. Reach out. We are very much available. So talk to us. We're here for you guys. So thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to leave you with our contact information one more time. And yes, Nux, hit the like button. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Brenly. I'm sorry to be leaving when you join us, but I appreciate you guys being here very much. So that's it for now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow around 5:30 or so. Thank you very much.